So I know I bang on about this, probably almost to the point of making people sick, but people are good. People are good and kind. All you've really got to do is interact with them, ask, be a kind person yourself, and you'll find they're doing the most amazing things. I mean, I know this sounds like, you know, we should all be holding hands while dancing over rainbows and stroking unicorns, singing the latest happy song, but oddly enough, it's perfectly true. People have an innate goodness about them, and they will just be kind if you're a halfway decent person. Incredible. Now, obviously, I need some bits and pieces to finish my rocket stove, and I was pondering where to get this stuff. And I'm frequently asked where to get this stuff without having to pay a fortune. So, of course, the first place you turn to is a scrapyard. Now, I put a search in, and luckily enough, we have a scrapyard here called Reclamet, which is the biggest and best scrapyard in Kent, and it's right on my doorstep. So I gave the guys a ring, and initially they're going, I don't know about that, but okay, come down and we'll have a chat. So I went down to the yard. Hi, so we've talked about this before, how to get hold of stuff. So you get stuff to make things from. In one way is just to keep your eyes open. The biggest way is just to ask. Now I've come down to Reclamet, which is the biggest scrapyard in Kent, and they're a really nice bunch of guys who are basically willing to help if you ask. So I've asked them, do they mind if I have a look around? And they said no. So we're in Reclamet Yard and we're going to have a look at a few bits and pieces because of course we're making some stuff at the moment where we need things like a gas canister, some spent fire extinguishers, and then whatever else is just there. So let's have a look around the yard. So a bin load of used fire extinguishers. Now fire extinguishers are made from lots of different materials. The bulk of them are steel bodied, but these ones, which is a carbon dioxide fire extinguisher, that body is really thick aluminium, and of course we've got that bit of brass in there. So these things, even when you think they're empty, they're not. So let's get they've basically given me free rein to the yard. Have a look around and see what you see is interesting. Right here is basically a skip full of motors, impellers, transformers. There's a massive transformer right here, and all kinds of stuff. So any scrapyard is going to be in Aladdin's cave of you never know what you're going to find. So Stuart brought me down and showed me these. Stuart's the MD here, incidentally. These are magnets that the NHS were putting around their water pipes for some unknown reason. There's a massive stack of them right there. Stuart said grab a few. Of course grab a few. We can make alternators and generators out of those, no trouble at all. So Stuart, the MD there, and he's just an awesome fella, hey? I mean, he's a really kind fella. He does a lot of charity, and he was more than happy to support what I'm up to. Had a chat with Chris in the office. Bethany, the girl, lent me her coat so that I could run around the yard. So Stuart says to me, just obey these few health and safety rules, Rob, keep out of the way of the cranes. If you find anything interesting, sure, mate, take it. And I thought, what? That, all because I asked the guy, I just asked him. Now, when you do something like that, of course, what I want to do is something in return for Stuart, because what a thing, you know, what a thing to do. I mean, all the boys in the yard were just kind and helpful. I mean, that kind of ethos spreads across a whole company. It's just a great group of guys. And I was just so impressed because I want to do something back in return for that, really. I mean, what a kindness. What a support to give me just to take these bits and pieces and be able to make stuff and do videos on here for, well, basically nothing, which I thought was great, you know. So as a bit of quid pro quo, what I'm going to try and do is do a few videos for Stuart. So, you know, how to safely take things apart, that sort of stuff. You know, when you take a bit of scrap in, well, you get a mixed metal price, but if you can separate the metals, you get a much better price because you get the metal price for the metals that you've separated. So things like CO2 cylinders, for instance, fire extinguishers, that body is aluminium, and of course you've got all the brass fittings. If you separate them, you get a much better price. Of course you would do, because if you're not doing it, then the scrap man has to do it, and he's got rent and rates and wages to pay. If you're doing it, of course, you're doing it for yourself, so you get a much better price if you can do that. And if you do that safely, then it's going to help. So I'm going to do some videos on how to separate things, because it'll help people going down the scrapyard to be able to do that, and help the guys in the scrapyard being able to do that safely. So I'm going to do a few videos on those sort of things for Stuart. And then obviously, when we're doing makes, where Stuart's helped with that make, I'm going to give him thanks and that sort of stuff. But I'm going to put the link to Hib's website in the description below this video. And if you are in Kent and you want to dispose of stuff, or you're looking for car parts, because Stuart doesn't only do the larger side of scrap, which is kind of what I'm interested in, you know, the industrial waste stuff. He does an awful lot of cars as well, so he's got a lot of good parts for cars, and will take cars at one of the best prices around. So really good guys, really helpful to me. Of course I'm going to do the quid pro quo, and it just bolsters that idea, that ridiculous idea that I have, that humanity is awesome. Anyway, I thought I'd share those thoughts with you and the trip to the scrapyard. I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you very much for watching. And please remember to like and subscribe.